Hello again. Right then, so I did a video a couple of days ago and I explained that it was a different video to the normal sorts that I do. Most of the stuff I do is usually on cars, radio controlled things and stuff like that. So I have another hobby, which I said in that other video, and that other hobby is air guns, air pistols, rifles, that kind of stuff. Mostly I just use for target practice and things like that. Luckily I've got a friend who's got a big field, so we go down there and do a bit of shooting, a bit of target practice, and yes, it's good fun. It's a good hobby, I quite enjoy it. I do like guns anyway. Yes, they can be dangerous, and you know, I know it's a bit of a taboo subject, guns and everything, but as long as you're careful and you know you're sensible with them and things, they're no more dangerous than anything else really. It's just if they get into the wrong hands, obviously, that's when they become dangerous. Anyway, I said in my last video that I would do a quick video on how some of these pistols and rifles work. So today's video is just going to be a quick video on the Beretta M9A3 and the Remington 1911. I'm just going to do a quick video to show you how these two actually run and how to load them up and use them. So this, you would have seen in the other video, this is the Remington 1911. It's modelled on the Colt 1911. This is the tactical version, so it has the rail on the bottom there, which you can mount a laser sight, which I have. It also has slightly bigger tail on the back there. It's a much nicer design. You have a fluted trigger there. These wood grips didn't come with the gun. I put those on. They are genuine wood. Anyone who's interested, I said in my other video, there's a guy on YouTube, sorry, not YouTube, eBay, there's a guy and his company is called DM Grips. He made these grips and he does various different types for Colt 1911s. They're all genuine wood, some are different types of wood, but yeah, as you can see, they're really, really nice grips and they make the gun look so much nicer. Okay. The next one, this is the Beretta. This is the M9A3, so it's the new model. It's only just come out, this one. It's basically the newer version of the Beretta 92 FS. It's very, very similar in a lot of ways. It's pretty much the same shape. It works in exactly the same way. The safety, everything like that is all pretty much in the same place as the 92F. The main difference is really you've got this little cap on the end which you can unscrew for a silencer if you want to put a silencer on it. The grips are very slightly different. On the 92FS they curve at the back here slightly, but on this one they're basically straight down. I am looking into finding someone who can make a set of grips for this out of wood, because I'm a bit of a sucker for wood grips. So hopefully I will be able to find someone to do that, and then I'll have some nice wood grips on here as well. So I'll keep you posted on that. It works pretty much in the same way as the Remington 1911. Not much difference between these two really, if I'm honest. The magazines both come out at the bottom, just like the real gun. They're both field strippable, just like the real gun. They both have full blowback, which gives you a little bit of a kick. Obviously it's not going to be as much as a real gun would, but it gives you that extra bit of realism, which I like. It's just nice. Each time you pull the trigger, the slide will shoot back, pulls the hammer back, and then obviously it shoots back forward again and you're ready to go. So yeah, it runs basically in the same way as a real gun would. So what we'll do now, we'll load them up with some CO2. I'll show you how that works, and then we'll put some BBs in and we'll just fire a couple of shots on each gun just to show you the difference and how they work. And that'll be it for today's video. So here we go. Right, so what one shall we do first? Let's do the Remington first, shall we? Right, so the Remington. I will put the camera back here and hopefully, there we go. Right, so the Remington. To do the CO2 on this one, what you do, drop the mag out. Mag comes out the bottom like that. You can obviously see through the magazine. There's an obvious shape of CO2 there. In the bottom of the magazine, when you buy one of these guns, it will come with an Allen key. So this Allen key here is for the bottom there, so you can screw that up. You get your CO2. They're 12 gram canisters. The CO2 basically goes in. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Goes in here like this. You get your Allen key. You wind the screw outwards until it slots in nicely. Then you nip it back up so it's tight. Turn the Allen key around the other way, and as you turn it around the other way, give it a few that you just heard. It just cracks it off then, and you just give it another quick little turn, just a little bit, until it's not leaking. If you're worried it's leaking, you can just hold it to your ear and check, but obviously I know it's not leaking because it's a fairly new gun. The BBs, they go in the front. So what you do is you slide this down past that point there, and there's a little hole, and then you would get your BBs and they will go in, and you can fill it up to about here in BBs. I haven't actually counted in how many go in here, but on previous experience with guns like this, it's usually around 15 to 18 BBs. So the BBs on this one, they're 4.5mm BBs, steel BBs. You can get these pretty much from any gun shop or anything. They're not expensive. These ones were £7.49, and there's 1,500 in there, so they will last you quite a while, I would have thought. Yeah, they're good quality. Just make sure, I will say, with this gun, with the Remington, it does seem to be quite picky on size of BBs. Now, they're all supposed to be 4.5mm. They're all supposed to be the same. However, when I first got this gun, I used a different make of steel BBs. They were a gold colour. They were still steel BBs, and they were still supposed to be 4.5mm. However, the gun kept jamming. I couldn't work out why. It kept loading up 2 BBs, and I was thinking, well, this must be a problem with it because it's a new gun. There wasn't a problem with it. It turned out that the BBs were slightly undersized by a fraction. I think we measured them on a vernier caliper, and they were about 4.1mm, and obviously they should be 4.5, and that made a big difference. You'd be surprised, but yeah, it kept jamming. So found another company. These are made by Umarex. Umarex is a really big brand in the gun world to do with the air rifles and pistols and things, and these ones measure just over 4.4mm, I think. So yeah, they're close enough. And anyway, these don't jam. These run totally fine. I don't know whether this gun would jam with the smaller ones. I would say possibly not. It might vary on how picky your gun is and how fiddly it is, maybe, because at the end of the day, they were a fairly big company that made those other BBs, so I wouldn't have thought that they would make them unless they ran in most pistols. I think it might just be a case that this Remington 1911 is particularly picky on its BB size. Right, so we'll just load a couple in for now. So your BBs, as I said, they just drop in here, so you pop them in that hole. Make sure you keep a hold of the end of the spring whilst you're loading it up, because otherwise if you let go too soon, you might end up forcing the spring all the way to the top too fast, and you could end up damaging the little plastic catch thing on the top, and you don't want to do that. Right, so CO2 is loaded, BB's loaded, magazine goes in the bottom. The gun's obviously not going to fire because I haven't cocked it. When you cock it, you pull the slide all the way back, let it go forward, and it's ready to fire just like a real gun. You've got 2 safeties on this gun. You've got the main safety there, so now it won't fire at all, the trigger won't work at all. There's the secondary safety, so I've just taken the main safety off, but if I pull the trigger now holding the gun like this, it won't fire. This here on 1911s, it's like a secondary safety, so when you hold it in your hand and grip it like that, if I was to pull the trigger now, it would fire. So basically this safety, that prevents the gun firing at all. It's not going to fire whether you push that in or not. You take that safety off, the gun still won't fire unless you push this forward. And obviously when you've got it in your hand in the normal position, that is going to be pushed forward. So make sure that the gun isn't pointed at anyone or anything like that whilst you've taken that safety off, because the trigger on this gun is very, very light and it most likely will go off. Right, we'll just fire a couple of shots with this one now at the targets, and you'll hopefully get to see a couple of shots. Right, so I will aim at the left hand target, so that would be this one here. So we'll do a couple of shots so you can see what it fires like. Okie dokie, here we go. So that was just 4 shots there. Not obviously aiming massively, but you can see there's a fairly decent group there. I wasn't really aiming, it was just a case of firing so you could see how nicely they go in. I'll now turn the camera around and you'll be able to see it from my perspective. So you'll be able to see the gun actually firing. I will eventually get a proper stand, because I know this makes my videos really crappy and horrible, so I'm terribly sorry. Unfortunately, I'm not a millionaire YouTuber, but there we go. One day, you never know. Right, so this is basically how it would look from my perspective. So we'll fire the gun a couple of times. Okay, safety back on, pop that one down. So that is the Remington. I will now pause the video and I will load the CO2 and the BBs into the Beretta, and you will see the Beretta in action then as well. I'm not going to show you loading the BBs and the CO2 in this one because it's literally exactly the same as the 1911, so you already know how to do it. The only difference is that the Allen key for this one is a slightly different size, but that's it. Okay, I'll see you in a sec. Right, so CO2's done, BBs are in. The only thing is I still need to cock it, so pop this back down again. This time I will go for the right hand target, so that will be this one this time. Okie dokie. So safety obviously on this one, safety off, cock it. Oh, that worked well, didn't it? The magazine fell out. I am a professional. Right, I will just make sure, fire a shot, that this is not now loaded. Okie dokie. Right, we're ready to go. So that was my error, that was. I didn't push the magazine in quite far enough. Anyway, right, we're ready to go. So, right hand target now. Right, so we got 3 shots, fairly central in the right hand target. I will now do the same as I did before. Turn the camera around and you can see it from my perspective. Okay. So, safety off. Here we go. Safety back on again. And there we are. So, there's the groups on them, there's the groups on them, there's the 2 guns. So, price wise, in case you didn't see my other video, the Beretta, around £200 to £220, is made by Beretta. It's a genuine Beretta licensed product, so that's quite cool. The Remington 1911, Obviously that's made by Remington, but it is a replica of the Colt 1911. This particular model, the tactical one, this exact one, minus these grips, was $149.99. So value-wise, go for this. They're both full metal, full weight. They're both very nice, very well made. So yeah, I think if you're interested in getting into air pistols or anything like that, then either one of these would be a good choice, especially for a beginner. They're very simple, very easy to use, and they're good fun. That's about it really for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, a bit different to normal, but thanks for watching. Cheers!